Good morning. On behalf of the Alliance of Women in Workers' Compensation, I want to welcome you to today's webinar. The topic, The Future of Work, Connecting at the Speed of Life, will last approximately 1 hour and is a pre-recorded session from the WCRI pre-conference event in 2019. Before we get started, I would like to thank our 2020 corporate sponsors for their support on hosting events such as this. They support us not because they want their logos up on a screen, but they support the cause, which is to affect positive change in the workers' compensation industry through networking, support, mentoring, and collaboration. The Alliance is inclusive of all professionals in workers' compensation, regardless of career stage, with the belief that we can all learn from and support each other. Larry Gioia, the keynote speaker today, wears many hats. He is a father, husband, community builder, executive advisor, Paralympic coach, and serial entrepreneur based in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. At his core, Larry is a connector. He is passionate about bringing people and ideas together to help individuals of all ages and abilities realize their potential through the power of human connection. Larry is a regular speaker and podcast guest best known for his ABCD, Always Be Connecting the Dots, approach to work-life integration. Larry is currently a senior director at PwC Consulting, where he advises executives in the healthcare industry on the strategic use of technology, business model innovation, and the future of work. What is happening to the human part of work? This is a common theme that is often overshadowed when futurists speak of the future of work and the content of technology enablement, robotics, automation, and artificial intelligence. But it is becoming clear that technological innovation is radically disrupting the way we think about our businesses and the way we work with others. Larry is a technologist at heart, but his unique take on the future of work for us as leaders remain human-focused. As a technical humanist, the core thesis of Larry's message will focus on the importance of community, diversity of thought, purpose, and unlocking the innate superpowers of your teams through Headspace and HeartSpeak. Thank you for your time you're spending with us today, and we hope you enjoy this webinar.
How's everybody doing? Well, good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me here this afternoon. I'm coming from a faraway land called Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Any Pittsburghers or East Coasters here? A few, okay, good. So as I was coming out here, they said, hey, the weather here kind of sucks. I said, what do you mean it kind of sucks? They're like, it's kind of like 70 today. I said, this is awesome. This is perfect. So in all seriousness, I'm really happy to be here. And this topic is something I'm incredibly passionate about. What I think is really interesting about this topic of future of work, we go to a lot of conferences. We go and talk to our colleagues about what the future of work means. There's a lot of technology. I'm a technologist at heart. But something I'm really passionate about is the heart itself and what that means and how we bring heart to work. How do we show up at work? This idea of connecting at the speed of life. So what we're going to talk about today, and I want to have a dialogue and conversation. I'll give some disclaimers here in a second. In as much as I fully expect you to engage in the conversation, I'll actually stand here until you actually say something. By the way, it's who I am, what I do. All right? No problem with that. But I'm actually probably going to ask you some questions. Some questions that may challenge you a little bit, that may challenge some of your thinking, that I may ask you to think a little differently. I may ask you to come outside your comfort zone a little bit. That's why we're all here, to think differently about what the future of work means, and more specifically about you as an individual sitting in the seat and what you bring to your companies, to your communities, to all of us in this room and the industries that we all serve. That's the point of view I'm trying to bring with, okay? Connecting the speed of life, the topic I'm incredibly passionate about. So I think we have to go back a couple years before we go forward. So Da Vinci. Da Vinci, if you've read about him, we know what he's done, all the amazing things he's done. But at his core, yes, he's an inventor, he's a scientist, he's done all these amazing things to change the face of the universe as we know it relative to work. But at his core, he's one thing. He's a connector of ideas, a connector of people, concepts. He's a writer, he's all these things. The year is 1476. Da Vinci is 26 years old. And in some of his writings, he scribbles the following: the principles for the development of a complete mind. And in this passage, he says the following: study the science of art. Study the art of science. Develop your senses, especially learn how to see. Realize that everything connects to everything else. Realize that everything connects to everything else. It's somewhat fascinating to me personally, and maybe for some of you too. I began to question, I'm not questioning Da Vinci, but I'm like, why does he think that way? What exactly is this whole idea of connection all about? It's networking. It's about people connecting with each other. Sure, maybe we'll talk about what networking really means, I think. But it's about how do we connect the dots in a literal way. It's all connected. It, whatever it is, as we all think about where we sit, the communities we live in, the jobs we work every day, the communities we serve. It is whatever you want it to be. But more importantly, we are all connected in some form or fashion. And we're actually going to bring that to life today. That's my objective. To that end, I actually created a little moniker to remind myself of what does it mean to be a connector? It's very simple. You can actually write this one in your notebook. ABCD. Always be connecting the dots. It's as simple as that. ABCD, always be connecting the dots. It's not just some silly moniker that I came up with to remind myself, but quite frankly, I hope this comes out in my conversation with you today, is that it's actually a lifestyle. A lifestyle is that life becomes work and work becomes life, and if you can find that blend to bring the two things together, your life, I believe, fundamentally, you won't get burned out at work when you have a mentality like this. You won't get burned out with your family and friends. You want to go back to work. I don't think that way. I really have found this intersection of work-life integration through this mentality of taking A, B, C, D into everything that I do. So, let me tell you the lens I'm looking at the world through. I'm a part-time futurist. I made that title up. Why not? Like many of you, I wear many hats. I happen to work for this small little company called PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC. I'm not an accountant, though. That's not why I'm here today. I also happen to be an entrepreneur. I've done many successful startup companies, and I've failed a whole lot more than that. I'm also a community builder. I'm active in my community, like many of you. I come out to events like this to meet all of you. Someone actually asked me, so what do you do? Why are you here? I said, because I wanted to meet you. Seriously. I give you all this context to say that I don't look at the world through a single lens. I think one of the things that we all too often do as employees, as leaders, is look through the singular lens of our job, of our life, of whatever it might be. And we think about the future of work. I fundamentally believe that we truly have to open our proverbial aperture and look through multiple lenses of the problem or the opportunity before us. And that's the lens I want to apply to today's conversation. So, maybe. Most speakers don't want phones out. I want your phones out for a second. So get your phone out. And I want to know what you think. Polling question number 1. There's not a lot of these, but so get your phone out. The future is. I want to know from you, so you're going to go to this little website called Slido, Slido.com. Slido.com, and hopefully there should be a poll there that says, what words do you use to describe the future? It should look something like that. So, let's take all of your big brains, and I want to see them up here. Words you use to describe the future. Let's see where everyone's at in the room. Slido, okay. Killer robots, of course, yes. It's change, it's connections, it's opportunity. Keep going. Don't cheat. Don't look up here. Not yet. Only 6 people have participated. Here we go. It's artificial intelligence. It's limitless. Multiple people said limitless. I love this. It's limitless. If we have a truly abundance mindset about what the future actually holds, especially when it comes to the future and not just work, by the way, the bigger the words, the more they actually appear in your responses. This is awesome. It's exciting. It's bright. It's amazing. It's technology. Yes. I have like a 40%, almost 40%. Okay, cool. This is beautiful. Anything surprise you up here? This is just par for the course. Huh? I'm going to tell you, every time I have a talk like this one, we immediately go to, I see artificial intelligence like blow up on the screen. Killer robots was one of the first ones that showed up. Like, people have a lot of that kind of anxiety about the future. The fact of the matter is that this is a reflection not just of you sitting in your seats, but your industry, of where you see the future going. And it's pretty darn bright, and you all should be very excited about that, because it actually is. Cool. 60 of you responded. Thank you for that. I'll sell your data back to you later, okay? All right. So, I don't know about you all, but this is the future I don't want to live in. Is there any cowboys or cowgirls in the room who can relate to this? Okay? And if you don't understand the reference, we live in a world of cat herding. I don't know about you, I do this every day. I don't want the future to look like this. What cat? Yeah, what cat? Yeah. This is the future I don't want to live in, and I will say this because it's up to every single one of us. Every single one of us, where we sit as leaders in our organization, as community members, as part of this consortium in this industry, to not make that happen, to not let that happen. And so we can do that by thinking about what do we have to do as individuals to change our own trajectory of work. How do we change the skills that we have to adapt to? We'll talk about adaptation in a second. What is it that we have to do to make sure that we are not just influential to our communities, but the clients that we all serve? No more cat herding is the point, yeah? Okay, we know the future is exciting, it's bright, it's killer robots. How about the future of work? Well, this is actually on the plane on the way here. I did a little Googling. I don't know, maybe the algorithms of Google have got something figured out, because we're here at the Alliance of Women Conference, and look at number 3. The future of work is remote, human, female, chaos. The future of work is here, okay? This is a literal Google search. I did not make this stuff up, all right? So when I do this, I think about the future of work, and I'm sure you've all Googled it before. The future of work is, these are the kind of things that come up. But I can tell you, one of the things that somewhat bothers me is a lot of the responses look like this. And you've probably seen some of these headlines. I'm sure you see them every day. I get bombarded with these things, and you can read them. The future of work, where the technology meets human capital. Cool, I can believe that, absolutely. Connecting the bots. A little play on connecting the dots, by the way. How's that? What is the real future of work? Well, jobs won't entirely disappear. They'll simply be redefined. Probably true. Robots, AI, automation, jobs lost. Our heads are spinning. What's missing from this equation? Yeah, people. Truly, I do not see enough headlines about what's happening with the human side of work. So what can we do about that? Well, I think that's our job. Our job is to change the narrative when it comes to the future of work and being human. And so, not to lead the witness at all, let's try this again. Go back to slido.com if you could. The future of work is, what words do you use and you think about in your companies to describe the future of work? 100%. People. Women. Again, limitless. It's cooperation. Progressive. Knowledge-based. I love this. How do we share knowledge in our organizations? I love this. Relationships. It's fast-paced. I'm an East Coaster, Pittsburghers, we talk really fast, so I will do my best to slow down. Apologize. Yeah, it's caring. It's interactive. Yeah. All the things you have here, I'm now going to magically make a part of my talk today, because this is exactly the way that I think about the future of work as well. And I'm so excited that you do as well, because this is the kind of mindset that all too often leaders are not taking. In the groundswell of organizations, so many of our people are talking about this stuff, but our leaders aren't listening. And I think it's a beautiful thing that we have so many CEOs and leaders here in the room today and executives here in the room today. This is what our people are talking about, but are you listening? And are you listening as a person, which is really, really important. And we're going to talk about that. So, thank you for indulging me and being interactive. I don't know about you, but the future of work may look like this to me. I'm not the robot. Just check the box for me. Let's not go there either, right? The future of work is actually very human. And that's exactly why we're all here. I think what's going to be a great, juxtaposition to maybe what I share with you, and I'm looking forward to hearing from our peers in the industry about how they're making this real in their day jobs, in their own companies. So, I get the question a lot, so what do I got to do? So what is it that I need to be walking away from this conversation with to go back to my job tomorrow and do to be different and be human at work? What if I told you you have the two superpowers right now? You all are sitting with them right now. Perhaps you're just not using them. So, no more polling on your phones. Give me a raise of hands if you have, in your head, you've got a big brain in your head. Be honest here. All hands. Yeah, you got a brain in your head. Someone's like, well, I don't know if I should do that. Yeah, you got it right here. I call this headspace. I'm not talking about the mobile app you use to meditate, all right? I'm talking about headspace, a different mindset. You all have the capability to think differently. Perhaps you're just not doing it. So that thing over there, what's that all about? Do you have a heart beating in your chest? Come on. Yeah, we know. Yeah, okay, you're like, Larry, get on with it. Yeah, no. This is heart speak. Heart speak, well, is that like being emotional at work or like putting myself out there? What is that all about? That's actually just being radically transparent, radical candor. How do you feel? Showing up to somebody and not just saying like, here's how I feel today, but we're going to have a chance to do some of this stuff. This is what I'm thinking about. This is what I see you, and I see you, and I see you. Bringing that to work, when combined together, headspace, heart speak, together, you can radically, fundamentally change the trajectory of work. I fundamentally believe that. I've seen it 100 times over. It just takes companies a long time to get there, and quite frankly, it takes us as people a while to get there. But it can be done. There are 6 key tenets that I believe will change the future of work. Not just change, but are foundational to the future of work. They look like this. On the headspace side, they're curiosity-fueled. Curiosity-fueled innovation. How do we show up to work and allow ourselves to be more curious? Leaders, how do we allow our employees to have the opportunity to be free in their jobs, to show creativity and be curious? It's community-oriented. 1s and 4s. I have no idea where that came from. Community-oriented. I don't know. Just like you're building a community and you've established this community around the Alliance of Women, are you building community in your workplace? Are you taking the community that you live in and bringing that to work, and taking the community you have inside of work and taking it outside of work and crossing the chasm if you like to do that, right? It's community-oriented. It's adaptable, and this is really critical. We hear a lot about upskilling and reconfiguring jobs based on technology. So today I'm a process engineer. Today I'm a claims processor. Tomorrow I'm a data architect. Whatever it is, the future of work is, I hate to tell you, is going to require you to think differently about your individual skill set. You have to be adaptable and say, well, I can't do this. This is not what I went to school for. I hate to say it. The fact of the matter is that everyone has a job. You just have to adapt to the environment around you. On the heart speak side, it's about being transparent. And sometimes I don't mean overly transparent. I mean showing up and actually saying how you feel in such a way that people know where you're coming from. Purpose-driven. We'll talk a little about purpose. Does your company have a purpose? But do you have a purpose? Do you know what your purpose is? And I will challenge every single one of you. Do you know what your purpose is? And perhaps some of you do. It's taken me a long time to figure out what mine is. I think I'm getting close to figuring it out. But it's about having purpose and then matching that purpose with what the purpose and values are of your organization. Finally, it's relationship focused. How do you build relationships? And there's a big difference between what a relationship is and what a networker is and what a connector is. But how do we actually create lasting relationships, which I know is at the core of your industry? When you do all 6 of these things across headspace and heart speak, I truly fundamentally believe that you can radically change the culture of an organization. So let's go down through each one of these things, and I'll give you a little context. I was 14 years old, and my dad had this poster in his office. And all I could imagine walking in his office every day and seeing this thing above, I'm like, what the hell does that even mean? In a world full of copycats, be an original? Yeah. It's like there's so many people out there who want to do what you do, but at the end of the day, you've got to do what makes you tick. You do you. You find your purpose by being an original. It's so easy to copy others and follow the leader or whatever it might be. Of course we have to. But sometimes creativity is a source for inspiration for everybody, and especially those around you. So be the Dalmatian in this case, maybe be the cat in this case. If we're a world full of copycats, be an original. Is it better to be interested or interesting? Who thinks it's better to be interesting? Oh, I got you. Come on. Yeah, interesting, okay. Or interested? Yeah? Good. I ask this question a lot, and there's no wrong answer. I would suggest that you cannot be interesting until you're interested first. It's about asking the more intelligent question. It's about going deeper than the surface level of what do you do? Well, you're not really being interested. You're just going through the motions. So how do we as people become more interested? Because those who are interested have really interesting stories to tell. They always, and it's not so much having the story, but like, you know those people that you go to parties with or you go to social settings with and they always have a story? Or they always have something that goes along with what you just said. Like, how the hell do they know so much about everything? Because they were really interested in a lot of different things. Those are the kinds of people that, quite frankly, I want to surround myself with. And I think you're those people too, but are you bringing that to work every day? Because I believe that truly being interested is going to be foundational to the future of work. The second piece of this is around community. And some of you who follow me on Twitter, there's a few of my Twitter friends and family in here, know about this thing called pink socks. I'm not going to go into the whole diatribe of pink socks yet. But at the end of the day, community comes from a place of whatever you want it to be. And that can be employee resource groups. That can come by way of a mastermind group in your organization. This doesn't happen to be anything that has to do with work, but I will tell you, somehow magically, by the powers of the universe, this group of people who wear these funky pink socks, these things, have become my tribe and become people, 40,000 people around the world that I can actually just call up at any moment and just, hey, have a conversation with. And I'm incredibly humbled that I'm telling you this, is that 2 of those people actually came here today, and I had no idea they were even going to be here. They're not even in your industry. I didn't ask them to be here. They did that because they're family to me. I've never met them before. Find your community, find your tribe. This will help change the trajectory of work. I hope I'm giving you real-world examples of things that you can do or you're doing right now that truly become foundational to what you can do as a human being in connecting to the speed of life. Community, find your tribe, whatever that is. So there's a lot of, I think, misnomer around the future of work is about networking and who you know, right? Well, I'd like to suggest it's a little different than that. Because it's not about who you know. It's about who you know who knows who you need to know. How's that? And some of you are like, this is just kitschy. No, actually, and I want to prove that to you in a second through a little exercise. It's not about who you know. Because it's no longer just about like, oh yeah, I know Anthony, and I know Judith, and Kimberly, and Artemis, and no, like that's, I know you, but do you really know that person? Do you know what they're all about, what their heart speaks all about? Because when I know what someone's passion is, and I know what their energy is, then I can go out of my way to connect the dots. I can go out of my way to make sure that I help narrate them. I tell their story for them. And what happens when we narrate other people? Connection happens. Whether you realize it or not, it's about who you know, who knows who you need to know. Let's try something. This is going to seem a little bit engineered because it is. Okay? So, and not about work. I don't know, I think some of you know each other, but we're going to try something. Think about this for a second. On a piece of paper in your little notebook there, just jot down 3 things that you are really good at. Not work. Basket weaving, gardening, underwater basket weaving, I don't know. Whatever your thing is, I'm really good at. Just 3 things, maybe 2. And then maybe the next column, or two more things. Two things. I want to learn more about. There's something that's like you just haven't had the time. Your boss isn't giving you the time outside of work to do it. What is the thing that you want to learn more about? Not work-related. I know this is a very compelling industry, but what are the things you want to do outside of work? Yeah? Everybody have something. Yeah? Or who's going to be a brave soul? Who wants to know something? Something you want to know about? Throw a hand up. Anybody? Yeah. Spanish. ¿Qué habla español aquí? Who speaks Spanish here? What's your name? What's your name?
Misty.
Misty. Misty wants to learn Spanish. Who speaks Spanish in the room? Right here. What's your name? Monica. Misty. Connection. Boom. Okay? Do you know each other? No. You do now. Okay. Who wants to know something? Come on. I'm being very serious. What's your name, dear? Holly. You want to know about, don't say Spanish. Cryptocurrency. Bitcoin. Who in this audience knows something about cryptocurrency? Please say yes. Artemis? Yes. Do you know Artemis? Do you know Artemis over here? Hi. Molly. Artemis. Yeah. Let's try one more. And I'm proving a point here, okay? Cryptocurrency, Spanish. Yeah, okay, one more. Come on. Go ahead. Adoption? Adoption, like family adoption. Yeah. Okay, cool. What's your name? Chrissy. Anybody know anything about adoption? Come on. Are you serious? Like, I'm not going to go through names. Look around the room. Okay. Okay. Yeah, right? So this feels very engineered. Why do I do this with confidence in every group I go into? Because if it's 150 people or it's 10 people, if it's Spanish, cryptocurrency, adoption, it's all right in front of you right now, but I challenge you, are you asking the right questions to see if it's actually there? It's there. It's right in front of you. There's never been a time I've had this conversation where I didn't have someone like, cryptocurrency? I'm glad you're here. I can kind of fake it till I make it a little bit. But either way, my point is this, is that are you asking, maybe not these questions, but are you having these kind of conversations with your teams? Because they're there. And you probably just know them as colleagues, but you don't know what they love to do, what they want to know more about, because you probably know, or you know someone who knows who they need to know. That's what it's all about. Connection, community building. I think there's a bit of a misnomer in the future of work as it relates to I have to be the expert. I have to be the expert. I have to have all the domain knowledge. Yes, Artemis knows about cryptocurrency, of course. But I fundamentally believe that, yes, we need experts, but the future of work is going to be largely fundamentally built upon what I refer to as expert generalists. Expert generalists are those people who know a lot of things about a lot of different things. Yeah? And this is nothing new, by the way. The technical term for this is a polymath. Polymath, you've heard of this before? A polymath is simply this: a person of wide-ranging knowledge or learning. There are modern-day polymaths that I'm sure that you know, and quite frankly, I suspect there are many in this room. Elon Musk is one of my favorite examples of the polymath. The guy's got like flamethrowers and cars and spaceships and like, right? How is he doing all of that? Well, quite frankly, he's drawing upon his interest in a ton of different things. And what makes him really interesting is his interests. And he's starting companies, and he's changing the world, and he wants to change the world. Yes, he's got his own problems on Twitter. But, okay? But fundamentally, the guy is a modern-day polymath where he's connecting his interests in life and work and hobbies together. He's, quite frankly, changing not just the world we live in, but the future of work as we understand it. You can go as far back as Da Vinci, as I started the conversation with, as probably one of the most well-known polymaths of his time. This concept of being adaptable and adapting to the world around you, being an expert generalist, I truly believe will fundamentally change the future of work. Adaptability. We talk in the software development world, any technology friends in the room, we talk in the world of technology about software development lifecycle, the life cycle of something, but it always usually starts with this idea of a concept or a prototype. It's a beta version. Well, what I'd like to tell you, what I'd like to think about is how do you define the beta version of yourself? The beta version of yourself is about living in a world of perpetual beta. It's constantly, you ship, right? In software, we build and then we ship and then we build and then we ship. What if you applied that concept from a technology world to yourself? Live in a world of perpetual beta, which means that you're never done. You're never done. You never settle for, this is the job I have and this is all I can possibly do. Unfortunately, as we know with technology and the world around us changing so radically, I fundamentally believe that the future of work is predicated upon being able to live in a world of perpetual beta and constantly dynamically change and adapt who you are as a person and what you bring to your company. Okay? Home stretch. In this world of adaptability and connection, which we're going to get to, which is the core to all of this, and connecting the speed of life, sometimes the best thing to do is to disconnect to reconnect. Just like your computers and everything else, if you shut them down and restart them and unplug them, they're probably going to work again. The same thing applies to you, to me. We get so caught up in our jobs, so caught up in what the demands we have in work and life. I'm not here to be professorial with you, but I fundamentally believe that if you unplug it for just a few minutes, it's going to come back again, including yourself. Okay, transparency. The fifth element, or number 4 of 4 on my last slide. Transparency. On the HeartSpeak side, this is really, really important. Are you telling people how you really feel about them? Maybe all too often you're telling them the things that you don't like about them. But when we tell people how we really feel about the work they're doing, and I don't mean just like giving feedback. I'm talking like getting deep and actually saying, hey, I really, really appreciate what you did last week and going out of your way to help somebody, whatever that might be. We're going to do it right now. Get out your phones. I want you to think of a colleague. I want you to think of it's your boss, it's your colleague, someone you work with. Maybe it's a mentor. Maybe it's someone you work with in another industry. I want you to send a text to that person, or an email, or just draft it. If you could hit send, it's even better. Just tell them how you feel. Tell them why you think they're awesome. I know some of you are hesitant to do this. It's okay. Just bear with me. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to do that. For some, this is a really difficult thing to do. I do this 10 times a day. It took me a really long time to get to a point where I felt comfortable telling someone how I actually felt. And I hope, I truly hope, and I believe that by the end of today, or maybe in the next 10 minutes, you're going to get a text back. And they're going to say, thank you. They're going to say, hey, I haven't heard from you for a long time. That was, you. Hey, Jim. Hey, Jim. How you doing? Yeah. Awesome. I don't know what that was, but like seriously, you don't got to tell us. You don't got to tell us. It's all right. Okay? That's magic. And I'm not trying to be fluffy with you. I'm not. That's HeartSpeak. When you combine Headspace and HeartSpeak and you're transparent in the relationships that you have and the relationships you want to have, you can fundamentally change the trajectory of work. The last topic, real quick, and she's looking at me like we have to get off the stage. Second to last one, purpose. Tell you a quick story. So one of my passions outside of work is teaching. And I don't mean like teaching in the classroom, but teaching and actually sharing my energy with other people in terms of the things I love to do. One of those things is kayaking. I love to kayak. I'm a paddler. Any kayakers in the room? Yeah? Okay, so we're going to talk. We have our own little focus group over here, by the way. Okay? I love teaching, I love paddling, I love being outside. And I was in Chicago at the Chicago Boat Show a couple years ago. This is about 6 years ago. And my job was very simple, to make sure kids indoors in a pool just had a good time and didn't go over the boat and didn't fall in the water. Okay, I can do that. I'm in the pool, and this little kid comes paddling by me. And he's kind of doing one of these jobs, right? He's going all over the place. And I'm like, oh, I can help this guy out. I'm a teacher, I'm a kayaker, I can go help this kid out. And I paddle over to him, and he's paddling with one arm. This kid changed my life. He got me thinking differently about who am I? And it wasn't a point of like inspiration or a point of I'm able-bodied, he's different. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know anything about disability. Just got me thinking differently, like, wow. In all seriousness, this kid really got me thinking differently about what it means to be active, but do things a little differently. And so I came home, I internalized that. I felt really weird because I didn't know what to say, didn't know what to do, didn't know how to like even interact. I'm like, good job, buddy. And he was doing his own thing. It was amazing. I internalized that a bit and said, well, you know, who's doing this thing which is called adaptive sports? Adaptive sports became a big part of my life. Not because I was seeking it out, not because I wanted to like, you know, share my energy for adaptive sports. I'm now training a Paralympian because of this kid I met 5 years ago to train for the Paralympics in 4 years. I don't share that with you as a point to say like, wow, look at me. I'm saying this is like, do you really know what you're looking for? I wasn't looking for this kid. I wasn't out there looking for someone to inspire me. But this kid radically changed what I think about when I think about my purpose. And my purpose fundamentally continues to be not just to add value, but pull value out of people, whether they realize it or not, and see the best in every single person. I'm sure, yeah, we can all do that, but I truly fundamentally believe that me as a consultant and as a paddler, as an instructor, I started a kayaking school because of this kid. I don't know, so what's your purpose? It got me thinking differently about purpose. But then how do you take that purpose and inject that back into your work? Quite frankly, it's given me a whole lot to think about as it relates to my job as a consultant and doing things differently. Not everybody thinks the same way that I do or you do or you do. Evan taught me how to think differently because we don't all do things the same way. I inject that purpose and values back into my daily work. I'm sure there's experiences like that you have too, but I don't know. I challenge you to bring that back into your daily life, okay? Relationships, Kimberly. There's a lot of things on this slide. Let me tell you how I met Kimberly. Yes, it happens to go back to Twitter, but there's a lot of healthcare folks in the room. Healthcare leader, this Twitter tweet chat. Anybody on this thing? If you're not, you should be. It's a really great little, every Tuesday night we have this chat about the latest and greatest trends in healthcare. This is not a promo for Healthcare Leader, but it started there. I'm on Twitter, and I'm frantically texting away about what my perspective was around the topic at hand. Happened to be about maybe, 9-10 months ago, whatever it was. And in that thread, there's this woman named Kimberly in there. And we're going back and forth in a very positive way. I'm like, Cedric, what the heck is that? I don't even know. Anyways, I post a picture of my son who's going to be a year old. And she's like, he's really cute. And okay, fine, cool. This is great. Awesome. Twitter. Woohoo. And then she sends me a direct message on Twitter. And she shared some heartspeak with me. She said, hey, just want to let you know, happy Father's Day. I see what you're doing with your son on Twitter and your family. I don't know her. I don't know this woman. She's just like one of a bajillion people on Twitter. Happy Father's Day. It made my day. It's amazing. And then we started this is incredible. Like, hey, I'm going to be in Chicago. Happen to be there in business. I'd love to meet you. I've only ever spent all of maybe 6 hours with Kimberly. So we met in person in Chicago. She says, hey, I'm going to come down and get coffee. And we literally spent 2 hours talking about family and friends. We didn't talk about work. We talked a little bit about work. But we talked about life and talked about what it means to be human. This is just one example, and then here I am, right? It's not to say like, oh, you can go get speaking engagements on Twitter. No, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is that fundamentally, if you can look beyond the linear nature of what this is, the future of work does not just come from the way we historically thought about it, which is showing up at work and doing our job and maybe doing some networking and then coming to events like this. You've got to open your aperture using the technology that you have, and what I like to call is going beyond 280. Going beyond the 280 characters of a tweet, of a LinkedIn post, whatever it might be, and sharing real heart speak and real headspace with people. Thank you, Kimberly, because that's why I'm actually here. Home stretch. A couple more thoughts for you. That was not networking. Many people associate networking with I want something from you. I like to think of networking as to a transaction, as connecting is to a relationship. This is a relationship. Sorry, Mark, wherever you're at. Okay, man, sorry. Okay. It's a relationship, and you fundamentally understand what I'm saying here, okay? This is a relationship. This wasn't a transaction. I never in my wildest dreams expected that text message from you. But it's about the relationship and the people I get to meet all of you, and I get to know what you're about, and I get to go narrate you over the course of the next however long. I guarantee we will be doing something together in some capacity, but I don't want that. It's going to happen when it needs to happen because it's a relationship and not a transaction. I'm not here to network with you. So let's connect, okay? What if I told you something? What if I told you that this entire room is connected and you just don't know it? I'll give you some examples. Or what if I told you that you could experience these 10 positive emotions in 60 seconds or less? Do you believe me? Yeah? You have to believe me because I'm going to do it anyways. Let's go. Okay. Massively multiplayer thumb wrestling. Get up. Everybody up. Come on. Let's go. You're falling asleep. I don't want to do this. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. Literally, you don't even got to move, sort of. We're all kind of jammed in like sardines. Here's what we're going to do. You could say traditional thumb wrestling is kind of like, okay, I'm going to do the person next to me. I'm going to do some thumb wrestling. That's really interesting. Can you come over here for a second? We do these. You know it's thumb wrestling, right? What's your name?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. I'm Larry. Don't be afraid. It's okay. Do this thing. We do 1, 2, 3, 4, declare a thumb war. Fine. That's interesting, but it's even better when I have another hand. Okay? Come on over here. Come on. Let's go. Stephanie, come here. Come on. Let's go. Yeah. What's your name?
Julie.
Julie. But you have an extra hand, too. Connect to some of them. We're going to connect the whole damn room. Come on. Okay, on the count of 3. If you don't have a hand, get a hand in there. Everybody got a hand. If you have a free hand, you got to connect to her. Okay. Are there any free hands? Put your hand up if you got a free hand. Okay, good. On the count of 3, I'm going to say go. And you are going to thumb wrestle your heart out until you win. So, 1, 2, 3, go. Thumb wrestle. Who are you? Come on. Come on. Come on. Do we have a winner? Yes. Who was the winner? Was there a winner? Right here. All I know is that maybe you got to like take this outside because she claims to be the winner back there. I don't know. Okay. Thank you for indulging me. I appreciate that. That was just as much fun to watch as it was to do, by the way. In all seriousness, as I tee you up for the next conversation, that which you just experienced is the power of human connection. Physically and fundamentally, you experience 10 positive emotions, whether you believe it or not, in 60 seconds or less. Curiosity. What is this guy talking about? Okay. Contentment. Some of you are like, this thing's about to be over. I just can't wait. Contentment. Okay. Creativity. Some of you, I saw someone was like doing one of these things. It's like awe and wonder. You're like, wow, that actually worked. That actually like came to life. Surprise. That actually worked. Wow. Okay. Joy. Hey, I won. Relief. This is over. Love. I don't know if there's anything, hey, any relationships that happen out of this thing? Invite me to the wedding, whatever it is, okay? Excitement. I won. She's like, yeah. And pride. Yes, it's over-engineered. But the fact of the matter is that's where connection happens. Connection happens when you share space, you share head space, you share heart speak with each other at the speed of life. That's the future of work. Be curious, build community, be adaptable, be transparent, be purposeful, and build relationships. If I leave you with anything, it's this. And you can even write this one down, take a picture, whatever it is. It looks like this. Listen more, talk less. Love more, fear less. Float more, steer less. Give more, take less. Connect more, ask less. Be human. Thank you.